Can you feel the Kenergy? Feel so real, my Kenergy. Ladies and gentlemen, and variations thereupon, this is Modern Escapism. Hello, and welcome to another week of Modern Escapism. As you've heard, host Ken is not here this week, so it is me, bog standard Ken, taking over the duties, and I'm joined by the bearded bear Ken. Hi, Ken.
Hi, Ken.
And the alt goth Barbie. Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
Unfortunately, also problematic Ken isn't with us this week either.
That could be either of them.
But we're here to give you our reviews of all the big hits this week. As you can imagine, there's going to be Barbie chat.
There is.
But how's everyone feeling? You feeling better, Candy?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. I saw the light at the end of the tunnel for a bit. There was a choir of voices singing me towards the light, but I've just about made it, I think. I'm back on the wine anyway, so that's got to be a step in the right direction.
That's how we know you feel better.
Yeah, the wine. You know it's bad. I didn't even want a game. I didn't want a game. I didn't want to drink. You know it was like deathbed time.
Oh, but glad that you're feeling better. Gadget is feeling very tired.
I am.
Because we met up this weekend, didn't we?
We did. We went down to North Yorkshire with some of the people from our Discord to do the Black Sheep Brewery tour, which was fun.
Ooh.
Yes, it was really good. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was very knowledgeable and he enjoyed his beer.
Alan is his name. Yeah,
Alan.
His name was Alan, or Fred if you didn't like him.
Yeah, yeah. He said, if you like the tour, give us a good review. My name's Alan, and if not, then I'm Fred. Yeah,
what was your favourite sheep?
All of them.
I kept
The upside down one.
I kept looking at them, but then I kept falling asleep.
Ooh. Yeah, it was really good. Apart from when he gave us these like part of the things to try, didn't he? When it had been through certain processes.
Oh yeah, the barley.
The barley, yeah, and he's like, you can eat this, like it's tasteless to start with, then it goes through this process. What's it taste like? And I got one that was just like burnt coffee, and I was just like, had to walk around the rest of this tour with a taste of this horrible burnt coffee taste in my mouth.
Yeah, one of them tastes like coffee, and he like handed them out, and Stig was the first one to get one, and he just bit into it, and I just saw the look on his face go, "Rah." And it's just like, I hate coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was very Yorkshire, wasn't he? Like, I was fine.
Yeah,
I could understand him, but I was just thinking, can the other three?
I could understand him. I think Tig and Kev were really struggling with him.
It took a while for the ears to kind of tune in.
But no, it was
good.
Yeah, it was good, and it also, especially we booked it when there was a risk of the Black Sheep Brewery closing down. But they got a lot of investment in there, and it's still open. So
yeah,
it's worth going to. And is it Massam or Masham? I can't remember how you pronounce it.
Massam.
Massam in North Yorkshire is a beautiful little village.
Yeah, it's a lovely little village, isn't it? We went to a little cafe called Johnny Baghdad's,
which is just a great name for a cafe.
Yeah,
good full English breakfast. Full English breakfast
nice.
and a big coffee was only £12. Good value for
lovely.
Good value for Toryland in Yorkshire. Because it's a place of rich people. Isn't
it is, yeah. Very
like,
much.
You walk around the market square, and they've come to market on a Saturday with their Porsche Cayennes or their classic cars or whatever. It's like a bright purple Triumph Stag this morning. It's actually
See, I've done like wine tours and stuff before, with like the tasting ones. They say, "Oh, pair it with this, pair it with that," and you'll probably be able to taste apples. You'll probably be able to taste the sunrise. You'll probably be able to taste. All I taste is wine. And also for the amount of wine I drink, like I don't have a particularly discerning palate. It's just, it tastes like wine. It tastes like wine, or it tastes like juicy wine, or it tastes like fizzy wine, and that's it, really.
I mean, yeah, I'm about the same with wine. You could give me like £100 bottle of wine or a £4 bottle of wine, I probably couldn't tell the difference.
Maybe until the next morning, though. When you wake up and you don't have a hangover, that's when you know it's good wine.
Nah, I don't believe that for a second. All wine gives me a hangover.
No, but we had a good time drinking beer. We had an excellent curry, and then it was a good weekend.
Got stranded in the village because there were no taxis.
Yeah.
Nice.
They said, "Oh, we booked a taxi there," and they said, "Oh, we'll have taxis on the way back." And then we rang them, and they're like, "Oh, we've got no taxis."
Like,
And then all my
but
friends who live close just weren't available to help either. So it was like, okay, we have to get a taxi from the next town over.
yeah, it was like 6 miles back. It's like, no, we're too drunk and too full of curry to walk that.
Yeah.
Because we'd been drinking since lunchtime.
Oh, God. No, I'd have had a snooze and gone back out at that point. You know, like if you start drinking at lunchtime, you got to go back at 4 o'clock for a bit of a nap, and then like the mascara's kind of come off, but you think it looks good anyway. You just whack a bit more, and then you go back out again.
We had a little bit rest. We went back to the flat, didn't we? And but we had a few beers there, and Gadget got attacked by the dog that lived there. there was like a shared balcony, like a rooftop terrace area that was shared with other flats, and there was this like proper old boy dog out there. He was playing with us, and he was having a good time. And then all of a sudden, he just started like attacking Gadget's legs and like pulling on his joggers.
Little bastard! It's because you're a terrier, and I wasn't playing with him.
Yeah,
because as you all know, I am of a size which has its own gravitational force. I had concertinaed myself into some garden furniture, and I was not moving from it because any hint of lateral movement was going to cause that to collapse. So when this dog drops its toy at my feet, I'm like, I can't bend forward and get that for you. You're out of fucking luck here, mate. He was not having it.
He wasn't happy, was he? He was having a beaut time though, playing with us. Like, I bet he goes out there all the time and just plays with like the random people that stop off at this Airbnb.
He was a proper wolf in sheep's clothing with things, because when we first got there and like opened the back door, like he'd like trotted up like this little doddery old man with his little white snout and everything, and like give him a bit of a scratch, and then he walked back off and like he found a sunbeam and just flopped onto the ground. And about 10 minutes later, I did go out to look if he died. He was just asleep. But then when Stig was there, he got his toy, and it was this little fucking demon, little bastard,
running around with the squeaker, going like squeaking it all the time. He was loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, we are going to go on to Biggie's breaking news. Except it's Stiggy's breaking news this week.
You may already know, but he doesn't, because it's time for Biggie's breaking news.
You're going to have to put up with me reading the news.
Oh.
Here we go. No, we know what it's like when I have to read stuff out.
Yeah, we do.
Right. First up, in gaming, Xbox announces pizza-scented controller in collaboration with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Wait, do we not get a song?
No. I did my song at the beginning.
It's not the same without a song.
I know, but that's Biggie's. Biggie, I don't want to step on his toes.
Anyway, back to the pizza.
Yeah. I'll do you a little song later if you want. I'll clink up one quickly. So Microsoft has proudly announced the first ever pizza-scented scented Xbox wireless controller as part of a collaboration with a new upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. The controller has 4 different designs, one of each for each turtle, and it has a built-in sense diffuser in the shape of a pizza slice, which you can only get if you win a draw. There's 4 available, and you can enter on Xbox on Twitter into a sweepstakes to win one of these controllers.
Bold to think that most controllers don't already smell like pizza. I mean, mine certainly does.
I actually seen it on TikTok before. I seen what it looks like, and it's so you get your Xbox controller, and you take the back battery panel off, and then it kind of clips onto that with another 3 AA batteries going into it.
It's like a giant rumble pack, isn't it?
Yeah.
But pizza shaped.
But then you've got to like drip in some pizza flavored essential oil into it. It's just an oil diffuser. But I'm thinking,
what is the point?
There's no point to it. Who wants that?
Nobody wants this.
It's also hideous.
It's one of those cross promotional things where you're just like, why? Why? Like who sat in the meeting and went, we've got to do a cross promotional thing with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I've got an idea. And they went, yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Do you think it was like Papa John that sneaked into the meeting or something? So I'm just going to
sat at the back with a mustache on, like and glasses, just going, make it pizza.
Exactly.
Like they could have just done like a themed Xbox Series X. That would have sold. Like make it
Just a
Yeah,
themed controller.
Or a
If you're
themed
going to give away controllers, just here's 4 controllers you can win, 1 for each turtle, so you have a unique controller.
Yeah.
Don't need the pizza diffuser.
I mean, they did the Starfield controller. That's a themed controller. It's fucking great. It looks lovely. It's just a controller.
Doesn't smell like stars.
No.
No.
But like, the two hardware integrations they've done this year are Starfield with some really awesome looking hardware, like the headset, the watch, the controller, and now this. And they're hideous. If you've seen the pictures of them, they're awful looking.
Yeah, they look awful. I mean, it's not as bad as PlayStation Spider-Man 1.
Oh no, that is
Oh
dreadful.
yeah, yikes.
Just, we splashed blood across the PlayStation and put a Spider-Man logo on it. I'm not sure how that represents Spider-Man.
No, it's a red console with the black Venom stuff splashed over it, so it's inverted.
It looks more like it's got blood splashed all over it.
I know, but yeah, it's dreadful.
Anyway, on to Diablo, because there's always some Diablo news.
There's always some
Diablo
news.
4 seasonal battle pass doesn't contain enough platinum to buy literally anything.
Yep, I saw that.
Blizzard is yet in more hot water with Diablo 4 players after it was realized that the popular action RPG battle pass only pays out 666 platinum upon completion, but there is nothing to buy anything. Everything is only there we go, first one.
Yep.
That is not enough to purchase the next seasonal battle pass or any cosmetics, with the cheapest costing 800 platinum.
Yeah, it's
So,
a shit idea. It's just the marketing, because I thought, hey, this will look good. It's all demonic and Diablo. Let's do 666. Yay. And then
I like that bit.
There's like the marketing team have not got in touch with like the microtransactions team to say like, can you actually get anything for this? Because like normally when you do a battle pass, like you can earn enough credits to buy the next battle pass. That's how it's supposed to be, the circular thing to keep you in the ecosystem with it.
Yeah, do you think like Blizzard surprised themselves by how much things cost then? If they didn't know, 666 will be plenty. You'll be able to get loads of that. Oh.
Yeah, what in the article here, Gadget, exactly what you said, that the usual thing is to kind of keep you in the loop by giving you enough to go on to the next one. So the battle pass is already $10 or like your local equivalent. And it's not only that this week, players are claiming that the game's UI is making people buy the battle pass by mistake.
Yeah, because it's one of those ones where I can't remember what the specific thing is, but I think it's like some of the button prompts are inverted or something. So if you try and like back out of it on I think it's on Xbox. If you try and back out of it or something, you end up actually purchasing it.
Oh, those motherfuckers.
And it doesn't give you are you sure you want to buy this?
Yeah.
It just literally lets you buy it.
Hang on, I'm gonna look at what that actually was.
Yeah, so yeah, they're not doing very well. Game might be all right, but all the shit in the background that comes with these games seems to be absolute dog shit.
Okay, yeah. So as pointed out by streamer Rurikon, the button to purchase the $10 battle pass sits close to the button that the players press to check their season journey. And what's more is that Diablo 4's cursor defaults to the premium pass button, and the game doesn't ask players for purchase confirmation if they accidentally activate it. So
Sneaky fuckers.
yeah, and that's not just like PC. That's like the streamer who noticed this was playing it on PlayStation by the looks of it, because yeah, R1 and L2, yeah, so it's on PlayStation. So it's malicious design.
They're great, aren't they?
Well, Blizzard, yeah, fucking wonderful. I'm so glad I haven't bought this game.
Oh, Blizzard. Fuck's sake, will you ever learn? Next, Hot Wheels Unleash 2 gets Fast and Furious with crossover DLC.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it?
True.
Well,
The Hot
absolutely.
Wheels game and the DLC you can get with it is Fast and Furious. And you can get the first of these iconic cars is a Dodge Charger, SRT, Hellcat Wide Boy.
That's Dom's car, isn't it?
Yeah, and a whole load of others. So, yeah, you can get a Fast and Furious DLC. So that's part of the Fast and Furious lore. So that means you and Biggie need to play that.
I did see that that terrible Fast and Furious game got put onto PlayStation Plus this month.
I feel like you need to play it just to see.
I
To see
might.
if there's any kind
anything
of
redeeming in it.
Yeah, but if there's any kind of like dodgy Vin Diesel impressions in there.
I think there is. From what I understand, there
No,
is.
is that another one where it's like side characters recounting things? Like I think it's like Elena and someone else like recounting Dom's tales.
There's one with Dom in it, and it's like they've beefed him up by about 50%. Like Vin Diesel was like, yeah, just beef me up a bit more, just beef. And he looks like an inflated cloud when he's walking
on
around.
the sliders, when you make your character more muscular.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Just looks like a giant thumb.
I mean, he always does look a bit like a giant thumb, doesn't he?
Quite thummy.
He's a very thummy man.
So that arrives in October. You can get that and your Fast and Furious DLC. Next to myself here, Xbox begins handing out 15-day bans for using retail mode emulators. So as everyone knew that you could emulate on an Xbox Series X and a Series S, and Microsoft is trying to put a stop to it. Back in April, Microsoft began banning and blocking access to emulators through the retail mode on the two consoles, but there wasn't enough to fully detail the retail mode emulating scene. However, it's now been reported that a significant number of Xbox users who have been accessing these emulators have now been receiving 15-day bans.
I mean, that's kind of fair enough, because they'll be using that argument. It's like, well, if you can sideload an emulator on this, you can probably crack the copy protection.
That, and they're probably worried about getting sued by Nintendo.
Well, yeah, because it's always Nintendo, isn't it?
Yeah. Although Sony, they love to try and sue them and keep them in court these days, don't they? So,
yeah. But no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fair enough. You can't really argue with that one.
Yeah. No, Biggie will be crying now.
Of course he will. He'll just have to emulate things on the 10,000 other gadgets that he has in the house that emulate things.
That's true. Speaking of Xbox and Square Enix announced plans to partner closely on future games. Xbox boss Phil Spencer made a surprise appearance as part of the Final Fantasy XIV Fan Festival 2023 in Las Vegas, where it was announced that Final Fantasy XIV will be coming to the Xbox Series X and S in spring 2024. Following this, Spencer and Square Enix CEO Takahashi Kiryu confirmed that the new plans have now been put in place to partner with more closely on future games.
I didn't even know Final Fantasy XIV wasn't on Xbox, to be honest. I can't imagine why it wouldn't be, but there you go. Maybe an exclusive.
They've always been quite
deal.
Like Sony related, like Sony and PC, haven't they? They've never really been on Xbox much.
I mean, I played 15 on Xbox, but even then it didn't feel. I was just so used to the PlayStation controllers with Final Fantasy games, it just didn't feel right. But
you just felt a bit dirty with that one, like playing Sonic on a Switch.
Yeah, it just didn't sit right. Like you're wearing somebody else's knickers.
It's another Xbox win for me.
Yeah,
they're just kind of racking up things out there, and partnering with people and whatnot.
Yeah, and ultimately, more games and more places to get them is better for players. Exclusivity sucks.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes, it does. And speaking of exclusive games that aren't technically exclusive anymore, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart peaks at less than 9,000 concurrent players on Steam. It is now the worst PC launch for a PlayStation game. It still holds very positive reviews, at 84%, but this makes Rift Apart the third worst launch on a PC for a PlayStation game, only above Returnal and Sackboy: A Big Adventure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a game PC players just weren't looking out for.
No, it's a good game. I liked it.
Great game.
I got it with the bundle of my PS5.
Same.
And I enjoyed it. And it looks absolutely stunning. And I reckon if you've got a PC that can do all the ray tracing and all that stuff, it would look absolutely stunning on one of them.
Yeah, it will. Plus, it does like ultra wide support and higher refresh rates and frame rates and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
it's a great game. It's also, I think, the fact is it's it's like an 8-hour game and it came out at 50 quid. I think PC players will wait. That will sell more when it gets cheaper, I think. I think it's probably on quite a lot of wish lists.
Yeah,
like, it's in the same way that like Returnal was a roguelike that came out at 50 quid and no one was like, no.
No one will buy a £50 game on PC unless it's a time sink.
Yeah, like Sackboy's Big Adventure is $49.99. No one's paying that for it.
No.
I think
Not a
that sold
chance.
less than 1,000 or something like that on its first week.
I've never been a Sackboy fan. Never interested me.
No, he's not Mario, is he?
No. It's like they tried to make him their kind of mascot, but they need to make Astrobot the
I was gonna say
official
that, yeah,
mascot and
make
get
him
more
like-
Astrobot games out.
Yeah.
Give us Astrobot's Adventure.
Yeah.
Sackboy is part of the PS3 curse, wasn't he, to be fair? So I think a lot of people missed him the first time round.
But yeah, PC players aren't going to pay that anyway. So, like you said, if it goes down into a sale and it's 20 quid, you probably see a lot of people picking it up at that.
Yeah. Plus, also, I think now that it's easier to get a PS5, that there's so many copies of that secondhand out at the minute because, again, loads of people got it with their PS5.
Yeah.
So you can get it on PS5 for, I think, about 25 quid now. So why would you pay 50 on PC? Unless you're not going to, are you?
There's probably a load in CEX.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it came with a console. That was the only thing to play. Played it. Done. Got rid of.
And it was good a game as it is. It really was just a tech demo for the PS5, wasn't it? It was just showing off what it could do.
Yeah. Finally, within gaming, Fallout New Vegas mod replaces Mr. House with Elon Musk.
I love this. We were just talking about it before we started recording. Like, the face looks incredible. They've used AI to replicate his voice as well, so it's just spot on. I really need to play New Vegas again. It's been so long.
It's so good.
Yeah, it says now a fresh Fallout New Vegas mod adds a contemporary modern flair to the Mojave Wasteland.
Mojave
Wasteland, replacing FNV's central antagonist with SpaceX and Twitter owner Elon Musk. This is the perfect excuse to return to Fallout New Vegas, as if you needed one.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Oh god, just listen to the AI voice they've got is really good as well.
Yeah. It's scary what they can do.
I've got New Vegas, but on Epic, so I wonder if it's available.
It's not Steam Workshop, the mods on that. It's all Nexus Mod Manager.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You might have to play that game.
It's really good. It's janky as all fuck. It is held together with sticky tape and a hope and a
Part of
prayer.
the charm, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, you've got to love the jank. This is pure... Todd didn't even work on it, but it's pure Todd jank.
Yeah. There's probably a bit of code in there that's like it is just Todd junk.
But
that's what does it all.
That's the magic.
But
Glues it all together.
I mean, the great thing about it as well is that is Mr. House is such an Elon Musk character. He is this kind of weird arch libertarian technologist that wants to remake Vegas in his own image, and it's just like, yeah, that's what Musk is trying to do. But the difference between Mr. House and Musk is that Mr. House has an army of Robotrons.
It won't be long. Don't give him ideas, for fuck's sake.
Elon will just have an army of Teslas that will catch fire as soon as they're sent out.
Yeah.
They'll crash into each other. But if you haven't played Fallout New Vegas, play Fallout New Vegas. It's fucking excellent.
I'll have to give it a go one day when I've finished playing everything else.
Too many games.
Too many games. All right, on to film and TV. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem has announced a sequel and a Paramount Plus tie-in series. So Paramount and Nickelodeon have partnered and set to produce a sequel to the movie, which isn't even out yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not out,
August
is it?
2nd. Yeah, and a spin-off series. So they must be pretty happy with the final output and outcome of the film.
It does look bloody good, though. From the trailer, just from the art direction, it looks cool. It looks sort of like stop motion, but obviously it's 3D.
It's like a Spider-Verse look, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're 3D cell shaded.
I
just like that they're teenagers. I just like that they use teenagers for the voices.
I know. They actually have like squeak. Well, one of them has a proper squeaky voice, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's currently sat at 96% off 52 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. So
it's doing all right.
So yeah, so they must have been happy enough before the reviews came in to say, yeah, sequels a go and spin-off series.
I think they probably would have had the spin-off series kind of waiting in the wings anyway, like seen as soon.
Yeah.
Because it's the kind of thing that Nickelodeon and Paramount can franchise that for years. You know, it's always a thing whenever there's a new kind of Turtle series or the reboot the cartoon or the repeat the cartoon, there's always a huge merchandising push.
Mm.
Like, God, do you not remember the fucking chaos in the early 90s when we were watching it?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, I remember it well.
Christmas 1991. Not a turtle to be found.
What was that big dome thing you used to be able to go? I used to really want it.
Technodrome.
My friend had. Yeah, my bestie had it. He had all the cool fucking turtle toys, and I got fuck all.
We had the van, I think.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we had the van.
We had the van. I had all four of the turtles themselves. I'd never had Splinter. I think I had. No, I had Bebop and Rocksteady. I didn't have Shredder.
Yeah,
I think
Bebop
I
and
had some
Rocksteady.
Ooze.
Oh yeah. Those tins of Ooze that every parent hated because it stained the carpets
Yeah.
green.
Oh, they still sell that shit.
Yes, but me and Candy aren't parents. We don't have to worry about that.
It's one of the things I tried to ban from my house.
We don't have to worry about Ooze or glitter.
Glitter and ooze. Get rid. Yeah, no, it looks good. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I'm into it.
So yeah, that should be good. Just a quick one. We had a new trailer for Castlevania Nocturnal this week. A premiere date of September the 28th.
Nice surprise. Looks great.
Yep.
I've not seen that yet.
Castlevania. The Castlevania series was banging.
Yep, love the Castlevania series, so well up for more.
I really hope they keep the slightly snidey, slightly camp atmosphere from the last series.
I'm sure they will.
I mean, Trevor Belmont was just a fucking queen all the way through, wasn't he?
Yeah. Might have to rewatch it.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I need to. I almost started last night. I started playing Devil May Cry 5. It's like, Castlevania's better. I want to watch the anime, so maybe I will tonight.
You should. It's one of those rare occasions when Netflix did something good.
Yeah, very good.
I really want that bloody Devil May Cry series. Don't think it's ever going to happen.
It's never happening.
Nah. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse delayed indefinitely. As you probably expected, the delay comes amidst working stoppages due to the ongoing WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes.
Right.
Per sources cited by Variety, the voice cast of Beyond the Spider-Verse won't be able to complete their work for the film in time for the previous March 29th, 2024 planned release date, which, by all accounts, was
Probably the tall order anyway.
yeah.
If they were still doing voice work this year, like you would have expected all the voice work for both films to be done, and it all just be animation work for the next year.
Yeah, that's not coming out till 2025 minimum.
Fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep,
Anything could be delayed until this gets sorted.
Yep, they need paying and they need to not rush these things.
Yep. Next, Barbie rakes in 500 million in its first week, smashing box office and studio records. This is now actually up to 750 million, I think,
Jesus
as of
Christ.
today.
Wow.
In its first week. The Barbie movie has grossed more than 500 million in global sales in its first week and set the multiple bests for both its stars and Warner Brothers Pictures, including continuing its record-breaking run that started with this year's biggest opening weekend. The comedy about Mattel Inc.'s famous doll is now the biggest opening for a movie based on a toy and Warner Brothers' best 7-day opening ever. It is not.
You want to think that the Warner Brothers executives are just like, phew, after the last year or so, they finally got a hit.
Yeah. It's knocked The Dark Knight off the top spot for earnings made in its opening Monday. So The Dark Knight held the most earnings on a Monday after its opening weekend since it came out, and it's managed to knock that off its perch.
See, everyone knew Barbie could kick Batman's ass.
And speaking of the other big film out this week, Oppenheimer blazes past massive milestone at global box office. Director Christopher Nolan's 3 hours biographical drama Oppenheimer is performing like one of his superhero movies at the box office. Not only did it pass the lifetime global haul of Batman Begins, it's now hit the 400 million mark at the worldwide box office after just 10 days in theaters.
That's brilliant.
It is the best second weekend hauls ever for an R-rated movie. Generated 72 million this weekend from overseas markets.
Yeah, I think, wasn't it, for R-rated movies, I think it was only topped by Deadpool or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Or something like that.
10th biggest Hollywood film of the year at the global box office, just behind Transformers: Rise of the Beast and John
Wow.
Wick Chapter 4.
Who the fuck went to see Transformers?
China.
Yeah, they pull in a lot of Transformers films. Pull in a lot still. Same as Fast and Furious ones. They're just
True.
people still pay to see them. But it's good. It's good that two films that are original and not sequels or franchises have absolutely smashed it, considering they've both come out on the same day.
Mm.
And I think that the hype between them and the whole Barbenheimer thing has just massively helped both films.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I fully agree. Yeah, there's absolutely a bunch of people who I wouldn't have expected to see in either of those films. Like loads of people dressed in pink for Oppenheimer.
Because they've done the double bill.
Yeah.
I got my pink shorts on to go see Barbie.
I got pinked up too. It had to be done. I never wear pink.
I wore burgundy because I don't own pink. Because I don't want to look like a bubblegum.
Yeah, don't diss my pink shorts, mate.
No, I would look like a bubblegum. I'm fucking round, you dickhead.
Finally, speaking of Barbie, the Barbie soundtrack makes history in the UK single charts. Barbie's all-conquering reach has extended to the UK music charts, where the movie's soundtrack album has broken records. Just a week after the film was released in the UK, 3 tracks have arrived in the top 5 of the official singles charts. This is the first time this has happened, according to those supervising the charts. BBC reports that the film has further made history with a total of 6 tracks from the soundtrack in the top 40.
It's a very good soundtrack.
So, What I Was Made For by Billie Eilish is at number 3, Dance the Night Away, Dua Lipa, number 4, Barbie World, Nicki Minaj, and Ice Spice, number 5. And I can fully see that Billie Eilish song probably ending up at number 1 after a few weeks as well.
I think it's probably going to be recognized as a classic. Like it is one of her best songs.
Yeah. And I'm Just Ken, number 25.
I may be most of that.
And finally, on to the weird and wonderful web. I've just come across this news story from a screenshot I saw in another Discord. So I had to share it, even though it's from a few years ago. Duck walks into pub, drinks pint, fights dog, and loses. Maintains bow tie. This is not a joke.
I saw that.
Britain's booziest duck that became a celebrity for downing pints in his local pub has been seriously injured following a brawl with a dog. The bird, called Star, is well known for waddling around his favourite inns, wearing a bow tie and swigging ale from glasses. The booze-looking duck and his handler, Barry Heyman, are a regular sight at their local tavern, some of which even give Star his own stool.
Okay, so it wasn't a wild duck. I was going to say, where the fuck did the bow tie come from if it's a wild duck?
Star came to blows and lost out to Pooch, Maggie, which also belongs to Star's owner, Barry. They had a Mexican standoff and stared each other out before the hound pounced, leaving the duck with his bottom beak split down the middle.
Oh, I love ducks.
He
he'll be
rushed
all right.
the beer-loving avian to the vets, where he was put on painkillers and said he was praying for his beloved duck to make a full recovery.
Oh.
I'm just going to make sure that he did before I read the story.
He's not in a pancake or anything now.
Thankfully, our Star is a tough cookie, but it looks like he came out okay.
Good.
So
They need to rename that pub the Duck and Wallop or something, don't they?
Hell, I'll fucking buy a pub and call it that. I like that.
Barry was concerned the injury would leave Star with a lisp that would put his performance career in jeopardy. As the duo regularly team up to raise hundreds of pounds for charity in their unique street double act.
What does a duck with a lisp sound like? Back.
But yeah, I just saw that headline. It was in Punk's Discord, and it was just the headline was enough for me to go check to make sure it wasn't just a fake one, but it's not. It's a real story.
So the duck had a bit of a melody.
Way.
Right, that's the news. Now we're going to get on to what we've been up to. You've probably guessed what we've been up to based on the intros and everything so far. So, Barbenheimer, we've all seen it. All seen both.
Yep.
Did we all do the double bill?
Yeah,
I couldn't,
did.
unfortunately. I didn't have to. I had to do I had to do Oppenheimer and then Barbie a few days later, just because of.
That's the way. I'd say I did the double bill. That's the way I did it as well, but only because the Sunny World Gods had it that way. If it was up to me, I'd have done Boom Brunch Barbie. Didn't have that choice.
We did.
I was sent
Barbie.
to bed with the I got sent to bed with the existential crisis.
Well, okay. Should we start with Oppenheimer?
Start with Oppenheimer. You go. You start, Gadget.
Okay, so yeah, Oppenheimer. when Pip and I went, that's the one we saw first. We did Boom Brunch Barbie. Oppenheimer is it's been lauded as one of Chris Nolan's greatest films. It is a 3 hour and 7 minute biography of what happened to J. Robert Oppenheimer and the Manhattan Project, with the creation of the nuclear bomb starting in 1942 or 43, something like that. And it tells his story from being a student in Cambridge all the way up to the bomb being dropped, and then after the Second World War, the concerted effort by members of the US Senate to discredit him over a tiny perceived slight.
Mm.
And it stars everybody. I'm not kidding. Everybody. On the IMDb page now, we have Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Alden Ehrenreich, Scott Grimes, Jason Clarke, Kurt Kohler, Tony Goldwyn, John Gowans, James Dacey, Ken Branagh turns up for a couple of scene-chewing areas. You get cameos by David Dalmatian and Jack Quaid's in there.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh doesn't even make the top bit of it, and she's critical to the story.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane how many people are in this. The film is told in 3 different timelines. So there's the timeline of Robert Downey Jr. plays Admiral Lewis Strauss, who's being interviewed for a cabinet position in, I can't remember which president's cabinet, but in
Truman.
No, it wasn't Truman. It was much later.
It's after, isn't it? Yeah, it's after, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember. It might be Nixon's. I think, I don't know. Anyway,
I think it was the one before Kennedy, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, maybe. Anyway, yeah. So he's being interviewed by the Senate panel, and he's got to the point where he's worried that they're going to ask what happened with Robert Oppenheimer, and so then his story comes out. All of that is shot in black and white because it's Strauss's memory of what happened. We then get directly from Oppenheimer's perspective, and then we also get the people around Oppenheimer in the kind of interview sessions ahead of that. Interview sessions about him being discredited. They haven't removed his security clearance.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a complicated film. It's incredible how well Nolan has managed to weave these 3 threads through, because they cover about 30 years in total.
Mm.
Yeah, and you've got, like you said, you've got this Senate hearing, you've got this small interview room thing going on with Oppenheimer about what happened, and almost like a little kangaroo court thing. And then you've got this story following the actual story of what happened, and I didn't feel lost once.
No,
never felt lost with it on where it was going on, even though it switches between the 3 situations constantly.
Yeah, I think that is because of the color grading, like with some of it being black and white, some of it being very starkly like the bits where it is Oppenheimer's perspective, like when it's doing the Manhattan Project stuff, there is a weird warmness to it that kind of makes it feel like his memory as opposed to anybody else's, which I quite like. Yeah, it's a fucking luscious film. Like, it's beautifully put together. It's also all the more impressive that there are no CGI scenes in it.
Yes.
There are a lot of special effects. Like, especially because there's this whole thing where I don't know if it's something Oppenheimer himself actually said, but someone basically said that Oppenheimer sees the stars. Oppenheimer sees physics. I guess like seeing the Matrix kind of thing. And there are visual representations of that. And as I was watching, I was trying to work out how did they do that. It's got to be all macro lenses and like dropping things in front of the camera and stuff. But it looked great. Yeah,
it's incredible. And when the moment happened, I thought it was done so effectively as well. And just the fact that that's not even CG.
No.
Like, how on earth? But I don't think it's going to be too much of a spoiler to say that they didn't show the actual bombings of Japan, and I think that's probably to its credit.
Yes,
I think there's a sign of respect. That's Oppenheimer's story had finished before that happened anyway. That wasn't Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer didn't have a part to play in that specific
he's built
event
the bomb.
other than
I think also it was important that they didn't show what happened to Japan, because it wasn't about what happened to Japan. It was about the bomb.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get at. But I think for me, it wasn't quite what I expected, not to its detriment, but I was expecting, I think, probably a little bit more spectacle and science rather than the courtroom drama.
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
A decent amount up to. I knew the poisoned apple thing. I know him getting expelled from Cambridge. I knew up until basically the bombs drop. After that, I knew nothing. So it was a real Oppenheimer. It was an eye opener to learn about everything that follows. Just incredible. And it's so gripping as well for something that's like, what was it, 3 hours, 15 minutes?
3 hours 7, I think.
Of essentially interviews and courtroom drama. It was just completely gripping.
I mean, if they'd split that up into a TV series, it would have been one of the greatest HBO things ever made.
Mm.
Yeah, I was, because it's 3 hours, I needed to go to the loo at one point, and I was just sat there going, when can I go?
Yeah.
I just couldn't find a place because it just doesn't, it doesn't feel like there's any downtime or any moment that you can go, so you're not going to lose anything. And then I sat in the loo when it was like building up to when the bomb was going to be like tested. I was like, well, I can't go now, so I have to sit there like waiting for the. But yeah, I just I found the performances in it excellent as well as obviously the way it was shot, edited, and the cinematography. All of that was excellent. But the performances in this are outstanding. Cillian Murphy is just brilliant throughout, and I thought the way they made him look throughout the whole thing was really well done. You could see the passage of time on the people.
Oh, the makeup department absolutely need to win an Oscar this year because the makeup is incredible.
The makeup is great. The way they act is being younger and then being older is really convincing. But yeah, him, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, like all these like central characters that were there from the majority of the story, all of them just brilliant.
I think I mean, I saw it in IMAX. Just a hint: you don't need to see it in IMAX. The only visual bit that would be improved by IMAX is the bomb itself going off. However, if you can see it in IMAX, go because you need the sound. Oh my god, the sound in that film!
Yeah, I agree. The sound is way more interesting than what you're seeing in front of you.
It is. There are a couple of sequences, and I'm not going to spoil what they are. But I was talking to you about it yesterday, Stig, the speech moment. Where the sound becomes oppressive, and it kind of blends with the visuals, but you get this kind of booming sound coming at you, and listening in IMAX, I thought I could feel it in my chest. It was so powerful, and I think Ludwig Göransson did the music, and that's all outstanding. But the editing and the sound stuff, oh my god, it's so good.
That's very typical of Nolan, though, isn't it? To have the sound almost be overwhelming at some parts.
Yeah.
Like you said, I thought at some point, oh God, the cinema, I've got this on really loud. It's not, it's just the way it's been mixed.
Yeah, it was on purpose. You're almost put into his head where he was just sensory overload for him, and it was projecting that onto you as the audience as well.
Oh, it's stunning film. And actually, I will say, for a 3-hour film, it didn't feel like 3 hours. I was quite surprised when it ended. I thought the ending came quickly.
Yeah, I thought that, and also at the end.
Yeah.
Did not leave that feeling good.
No.
Yeah. But I mean, there wasn't any part of it that could have been cut out either, really. It's not like it was 3 hours for the sake of being self-indulgent. This was, there wasn't a moment that was wasted. It's all stuff that happened. So yeah, it needed to be the 3 hours.
Yeah. And again, it's kind of one of those, I think we talked about, Gadget, you brought up the Turing film with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where the government uses somebody for their expertise and chews them up, spits them out when they're done with them. And it leaves you feeling very kind of annoyed at how these governments treat these people who essentially did wonderful things for them. And it's just one of those ones where you're just feeling quite angry about things. And
yeah, you do. And it's, it's obviously horrible what happened to Alan Turing, but I think this one also would feel it's pointed out in the film. It is so incredibly petty why what happens to Oppenheimer happens to him. It's not that there is a particular problem with this character, or he is weird, or he is gay, or anything like that. It is just this tiny little perceived social slight between him and one of the characters, and he makes it his life's work to destroy him. It's hideous. It's absolutely hideous.
Yeah, but overall, just fantastic. Like I said to you, it wouldn't be it's not my favorite Nolan film, but I think the difference between a masterpiece is probably is his masterpiece, but the difference between that and what is my favorite and more enjoyable to watch, two different things for me.
Yeah,
Really,
I mean, my favorite is still The Dark Knight.
yeah,
Same,
Um,
yeah.
The Dark Knight is a film you can rewatch. I will never watch Oppenheimer again. That I don't need to. This is like a modern Schindler's List to me. This,
Yeah.
Oppenheimer is a beautiful, wonderful, deeply terrible, horrible film because of the content in it. Everyone plays an amazing part, and because they play an amazing part, you get the horror.
Mm.
And it's a slow burn, and it's so tense all the way through, and everyone is playing it so well. It's just like you don't come out of that film feeling good, but you come out of that film
No.
having seen one of the greatest films ever made.
Mm.
yeah. I think comparing to Schindler's List is probably right in terms of it's an important film that you need to see, but not one that you really ever need to see again,
No, it's
regardless of how good it is.
It's not a Sunday afternoon watch, is it?
God, no. But yeah, if this isn't the film that gets all the nominations at the Oscars, then there's something wrong, because it's for main performances, supporting performances, director, editing, cinematography, sound, makeup, like the list goes on. That if I think this could be what wins Nolan an Oscar.
Yeah, because he hasn't won an Oscar yet himself, has he? His films, some of his
No.
films have, but he hasn't.
No.
Oh, that's surprising. Do you think Cillian will get a Oscar?
I think he'll definitely get nominated.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get nominated. I think Robert Downey Jr. will, because one of the most impressive things for me in this with Robert Downey Jr. as well is he spent 10 years being Iron Man, and you don't get a hint of that in this film.
I was going to say it must have been such a breath of fresh air for him, but
Yeah.
it's completely, I mean, he's unrecognizable, not just by his appearance, but like you said, his mannerisms, his acting style, everything.
Yeah.
He must have just used it so cathartically as a kind of like shedding of Iron Man and doing something so different.
There's a moment near the end where Strauss gets angry, and it kind of shocked me because I've not seen Robert Downey Jr. do genuine anger before.
Mm.
That
Yeah.
felt like he, the person, Robert Downey Jr., was pissed off. Like, and it just proves how good an actor he actually
That
is.
was the moment I was just thinking. I did sit there. I thought, wow, like that's going to be what gets him noticed as specifically from the film. He's very good throughout, but that moment that's the kind of one that everyone will show clips of like
because like throughout the rest of the film, because he's in the Senate hearing, and it's all about like him selling himself and trying not to get too much into what happened with Oppenheimer. He's kind of Tony Starkish. He's very charming. He's very affable. You know, he's playing like what I would say is in Robert Downey Jr.'s wheelhouse of a character. And then there's that moment where he explodes. I'm like, oh no, this is a new level. This is an unreal performance. I think Emily Blunt definitely needs to be nominated.
there's
I
one
think-
particular moment with her which is incredible. No spoilers, but
Yeah.
I was just kind of sat there with like a big grin on my face, and during that moment, I thought she was just brilliant.
Yeah. I think like there aren't really awards for like kind of like smaller roles in these things, because it's always just like actor and supporting actor and stuff like that. Because I would have thought Tom Conti should get some kind of recognition for playing Einstein. I thought he was really good as Einstein.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Judi Dench got an Oscar for being on screen for about 6 minutes
Oh, true. Yeah.
before, so you know it can
Like-
happen.
Florence Pugh is great as Oppenheimer's mistress, and David Dalmatian is great as William Borden. And finally, he's got a role where he doesn't have to be a real fucking creep. He's playing an actual real person.
I saw something as
Oh,
one
Matt
final-
Damon. Sorry, Matt Damon needs nominating.
I'm all for Josh Hartnett doing his Matthew McConaughey, like coming
Yeah.
back and doing serious roles and being really good in them, and because he's really good in this, and he was really good in that Black Mirror episode,
Yeah.
and yeah, now he's in his 40s.
I was
Let's
quite
start giving
surprised to see
serious
him.
roles.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know he was still working.
It's obviously a comeback, isn't it? Like he hasn't been doing anything, I think, for the best part of 20 years.
So,
Yeah, because he kind of lost that. Well, he's a bit too old to be putting in the heartthrob late teen, early
Yeah.
20s role now, and now people start to use him like for serious roles, and he's been very good in
He's-
the last two things I've seen. So
yeah, just looking at his IMDb, like his recent stuff, he's done a lot of like straight to DVD action films, like
Mm.
things with titles like Inherit the Viper or Target Number One. Yeah, so he's not really had a career for years, has he?
No. But if
No.
you're gonna,
He was in 27 episodes of Penny Dreadful. That was the last thing he did. I would say proper thing he did.
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah,
no, he's
it's
great
just-
in this. I didn't even realize he could act properly. I just thought he was supposed to be just like a kind of like likable heartthrob.
full of like
Well, I mean, it was the same
character
with-
actors in this
the
as well,
same
isn't he?
Matthew Mahogany.
Mahogany,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that guy.
It was,
Mahogany.
yeah, completely the same, typecast. And Hugh Grant as well. Once they get over the kind of foppish, love interest, these people do end up being quite fine actors.
Yeah, true. I
So-
suppose, yeah.
Yeah, great film. So that's one amazing film this week,
Yep.
or last week. On to the next one. Barbie. Come on, Candy, tell us about Barbie.
Barbie. I have a strong opinion.
Oh no, is it a bad
was no, I didn't love it. So I went and I was hyped up. It did have laugh out loud moments. For the first maybe 45 minutes, I was really enjoying it. I was along for the ride. I think my issue was I was expecting, again, it wasn't quite the film I was expecting it to be. This time, to its detriment, unfortunately. I think I was expecting more of a sort of fish out of water kind of tale. To me, and I'm going to sound like probably all those horrible people on the internet, but I did find it a little bit too, like, the message was there and it tended to slap you around the head with it a little bit too hard. And towards the end, it wasn't a case of, maybe men and women can work together for the better. It was, nope, men fail, women are back, everything's better now. That was the issue for me. I think if it was less of a brick to the face, I would have enjoyed it more. But I just don't like the kind of pitting sexes or pitting any kind of the group of people against one another and making it a competition. That's what I took umbrage with, I think. If that wasn't quite such a strong message, I would have enjoyed it a lot more.
So I enjoyed it because of that.
Isn't that funny though that you're a guy saying that and I'm a woman?
Yeah, I was going to say I want to disagree
That's
with
why
you, but then I feel like
first.
Yeah,
yeah, I want to disagree with you, but I don't want to be all patriarchy about it. Because I took a different read from the film.
Mm.
I took because obviously so Greta Gerwig film, Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, they play Barbies and Kens. Barbie's having the best days ever until she has a bad day. She goes to the real world, shit kicks off. That's the run of the story. Very funny. I saw it less as it does. The message does hit you across the face. I thought it did it in a good way though, but I don't think it kind of. By the time you get to the end of it, I think it does level men and women out, but not in the way that most people would expect. Like they're not equal. The Barbies have their world back, and everyone's happy about that. And then the Kens are happy about things because they've got a direction and a purpose. Because at the beginning of the film, they don't have a direction and a purpose. The Kens are just Ken. They're the accessory to Barbie. And by the end of the film, they become. But by the time they get to the end, the Kens have their own autonomy. Like they're not seen as the accessories to Barbies. They are Kenough, as the T-shirt says, which I'm totally going to buy one day. I loved it. I thought it was such a fucking good film.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it. It just didn't sit particularly well with me, I think. Like I said, it did have laugh out moments. Margot Robbie and his name's gone. Ryan Gosling, absolutely stellar. Ryan Gosling in particular.
Oh, he runs away with the film, which is also wildly ironic.
Yeah.
Considering
exactly.
Considering it's like she's everything and he's just Ken.
Mm.
No, he runs away with it.
I think that for me, there was a scene where one of the characters is listing how difficult it is to be a woman and how we have this problem, this problem. And I was sitting there and thinking, yeah, but this is not exclusive to women. Men suffer with these problems too. And is it just, is it a bit belittling? And I know we've always had films that will praise men and put women down, and now it's kind of, a refreshing change. But actually, I think, well, we know better than to do that. It's, it's 2023. We know better than to put one sex above the other. We know better than to put a certain group down. We all have, as humans, we all have these problems. You can't tell me that, a man can't feel self-conscious or feel put down by people above him in work and everything.
Well, yeah, but that is addressed in the film, because that's when Ken starts crying and Barbie goes to him, and she gives him the approval to cry and to be upset about things. That I think the problem is a lot of the feminist message is told to you in words, whereas the other messages are told by specific actions.
But again, would you say that's then a woman saying, no, it's okay to do that? As in, like, a giving permission kind of thing?
I don't think it was a giving permission thing. I think it was just that it's okay to cry as a man. You're okay to cry, and you're okay to cry in front of women. Don't worry about it.
It's not giving explicit permission, but like she doesn't scold him for crying, is what I'm saying. It's like she just hugs him, and he then feels like he can cry in front of her. That's what I mean by giving permission, not her saying, yes, you can cry, Ken.
So outside of the film's message, I thought it was just a lot, because I thought it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed like the kind of setup of Barbie world, and even kind of I took Amelia to watch this, and she got that. She got like how the houses and everything were made to look like actual Barbie toys, and how the Barbies moved and everything.
Production
and like,
design's amazing.
Their feet are like angled like a Barbie's, like that's how they walk, and all of that. Like that looked amazing. I thought, I loved how, if you look at the credits and all, they're all just Barbie. Even though they all have like jobs and purposes within the film, President Barbie and stereotypical Barbie and this Barbie, like the whole point is they're all just Barbie, and these guys are all just Ken, and that's fine. And you can all just, and I just thought it was a lot of fun. I thought the dialogue was really good fun. I loved the bit where they go from Barbie world to the real world.
Oh, the transition scenes.
The transition scene's really good. And I also kind of liked how the real world was still slightly not the real world. Like, it's not, it was kind of saying, this stuff does happen, the catcalling stuff, and the kind of men are in charge in most boardrooms, which is true. That's kind of historically the true thing. But Mattel, the way they presented Mattel in this,
I
was
can't
great.
believe they got away with that.
Just taking the piss out of the actual company who makes Barbie, and they presented it in a way that it wasn't in its real world. It wasn't really Mattel. It was this kind of weird, semi-real,
It's kind of cartoony, wasn't it?
Cartoony world, yeah, and within that building. And I just enjoyed all that together, and I enjoyed the side characters. I love like the lit's references where it's like, is it Midge, like the pregnant Barbie that she's like cornered off in her own little area that's like she got discontinued, so she lives there. You got Alan, which is Ken's friend. He's the only version played by Michael Cera, who's absolutely incredible in it. And Kate McKinnon's Weird Barbie. I loved Weird Barbie.
I loved Weird Barbie. That was a highlight for me.
Was so good.
Candy, did you have a weird Barbie? The one that was
I didn't have any Barbies.
Too metal for Barbies. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was way too metal for Barbies. I think I might have had a Cindy at one point, but I'd never had a Barbie.
Yeah, I really like Michael Cera, and his character got my favorite joke in the whole thing, which was the one about building a wall. I fucking I was a pain laughing at that. I don't know if you noticed. I pointed this out to Stig, but Candy, I don't know if you noticed. So when Barbie's in the real world and she's talking to the 4 kids and they're being mean to her, did you clock on that they were Bratz dolls?
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah,
I love that.
which I thought was like, there's loads of cute little references like that in it. Like Barbie's story is interesting and pushed forward. Ken's story is unhinged. It's absolutely fucking surreal. He goes from not having Barbie's attention, and like his entire existence is all around Barbie, to discovering what patriarchy is, but not really understanding it, because he thinks it's just about horses. To then having an epic dance-off against Simu Liu with one of the greatest songs in the middle of a film I've ever heard, to then becoming good with himself and realizing that he is just enough. He can be just Ken. Doesn't need to be Barbie and Ken. It can be just Ken. And it's so surreal that this wonderful feminist movie also like does lift up men to a degree. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was so good. And I think just also
I really enjoyed it.
I love the feminist message to it. Rhea Perlman as Barbie's creator. I thought her scenes were wonderful, absolutely beautiful. And I think this is also some of the best I've seen Margot Robbie. I think especially there is the scene just before America Ferrera's kind of diatribe about how difficult it is to be a woman. Margot Robbie is crying. It looks like genuine tears. Like she is so good at it. And it also get my second favorite joke in the film where she says, "I'm not pretty anymore." And the narrator goes, "Note to filmmakers, Margot Robbie is not the actress to get this point across."
Yes. Yes.
Because like the beginning of this film, she is just stunning. Like when she's in Barbie world and she's just smiling all the time. I said to Gadget, like her face when they were doing those scenes, her face must have hurt so much from having to just smile all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought she was great in this. Like the way she just was able to switch emotions really quickly and make it believable.
I also love stuff like all the outfits that the characters wear in Barbie Land are Barbie outfits. Like the ones that have come with it. There is even a scene where she's like throwing clothes on the ground and it like stops and tells what name it is and where it came from and stuff like that. Which like I was worried this film would be like a cynical marketing exercise, and it kind of inverts that and makes a piss take of cynical marketing exercises at times, which I thought was a very good move.
Yeah, Will Ferrell was good in it as well, and he can be hit and miss. So
he can be. He was very funny, I think, because he got to play a kind of elf-like character. He got to just be like fucking weird and shouty and unhinged.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I do get your points, Candy. I do get that, and it was just interesting that I'd come to you first. I thought you might have been more like higher in the film.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah, really. I thought I would be as well, but yeah, just for me, it was just a bit too much. I think you can achieve more by being a little bit more subtle about things.
Which is fine. I think the way you've expressed it is a fair and adult way of putting it across. Not burning Barbies in a dustbin.
Yeah, shall we go into the IMDb user reviews?
Oh no, let's not.
Lowest first.
God, let's not.
Let's have a look.
But yeah, a certain section of the internet, as always with this, have just taken it a little bit too far. And
that was always going to happen, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I was just like, what do you expect about a film? It's about Barbie. It's a toy that was marketed to girls. It was made for girls. Ken was never the main attraction for girls when it was just the dolls. He was just Barbie's boyfriend. That's the whole point. And
yeah, Ken is an accessory.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. But the movie subverts that and changes things and plays around with that idea.
Actually, to be fair, Candy, like your point about the message being kind of hit in the face with a brick, I think it needed to be, and people are still misinterpreting it because this just review I've just found on IMDb. 1 star, not at all what I was expecting. Walked out feeling sick. Okay, so listen to this terrible man say these things. I get it's a Barbie movie, but as a man in my early 20s going with his fiancée to see this movie, I walked out feeling sick and just preached at the entire movie. Don't get me wrong, I knew this was going to be a movie for the girls, but this movie had me feeling like just because I'm a man, I'm abusive, ornery, controlling, etc., and made men out to be awful good-for-nothings in every single story and every single male character in the movie. And I don't know about you guys, but I believe in equality, not reversed sexism. So, despite it being a brick to the face of a message, he still missed the fucking point of the film. Like, I don't think you could do a film with this message subtly because people are getting it wrong, even as blatantly upfront as it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you go on the internet, like the Ben Shapiro's of this world, burning Barbie dolls that fucking look like big men because he went to see a film that wasn't aimed at him, that didn't have a message for him, that he just wanted to be angry about it. It's like, fuck you guys, fuck the lot of this.
Which is ironic considering he kind of looks like a plastic doll anyway.
And he was dressed like Kenan in the picture that he took in the cinema. He was wearing like the black jeans and a black skin tight t-shirt. So
I thought the film was wonderful and Amelia really enjoyed it. There's a really wonderful moment near the end but uses the Billie Eilish song.
Oh God,
that had me and Amelia just having a little cuddle together in the cinema. So
I was in tears that one because again that's Margot Robbie just standing there and you're just watching the tears like drip down her face and you just want to hug her. You just want to make it all better, don't you?
I'll hug and make it better.
I know you will. Then you probably get arrested shortly after.
That's Barbenheimer, which we probably should move on before this whole episode becomes about it, because we do have other things.
It was a big week.
Yeah, you have a book I
I
believe.
do. I do have a book. I've actually read a book for once. I read How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie. So the
on your
synopsis for
level.
this, absolutely. When 28-year-old Grace discovers her absentee millionaire father has rejected her dying mother's pleas for help, she vows revenge and sets to killing every member of his family before being imprisoned for a murder that she didn't commit. This is objectively a shit book. It's not particularly original. It's not particularly well written, but I absolutely loved every minute of it. I could not get enough. I just ate it up. So the main character, Grace, is just completely loathsome. And so she herself seems to find something to hate about every demographic of society. She justifies her motivation to the reader being completely oblivious to the fact that she's just as bad, if not worse, actually, than the people that she's set to punish. But you're just kind of rooting for her anyway. And yeah, I just found it really darkly funny. Now, granted, I am smack bang in the center of the target audience for this. So, female millennial who watches murder documentaries and finds gruesome deaths funny.
Yeah.
It's not high literature. It's not. It is critically acclaimed, but it's doing pretty poorly on Goodreads. But I think some of the main gripes that people have was that the main character is just so unlikable. And she makes such awful decisions and she's just completely judgmental. But I think that was kind of the point of the book for it. Like, the point of the book, like, she is just that awful. And it's just her that's completely oblivious. She's just completely unaware that her shit also stinks. But it's just a kind of, like, turn your brain off and have a fun romp. It's, Gadget, you'll probably hate it. I think Oodles would want to burn it, to be quite honest. But it's one of those ones that you'd want to talk about in your 30-somethings book club or tell your mum about. It's definitely going to get a sequel the way it ended, and I would bet any money that it's going to be turned into a TV show like Killing Eve or something similar. But objectively, I would give it probably a 4, but on Candy's crap classics, I give it an 8. Thoroughly enjoyed it, just absolutely burned through it. Just nothing, just have fun with it. It's silly. It's silliness.
Are we gonna have to do that with do a Candy's crap classics read now?
New
Each of us gets
section.
a shit book to read.
I mean,
Okay.
Films, shit books.
just looking at it on Goodreads, and yeah, there's a lot of 1 stars for this one.
Yeah. I can understand why. It's just not. It's good.
The top review at 1 star says, "This book was honestly me when I'm struggling to reach the word count on an essay."
Excellent.
Oh god.
Well, I'm just going to jump in here before we do our last one with another thing I did this week, just to fill out that pod out. So I watched a 1980s horror film called Madman.
Oh.
This is kind of up your street, Candy.
Yeah.
It's a 1989 film. A bookshop clerk starts seeing the disfigured killer from her favorite 1950s pulp novels come to life and start killing people around her. This stars Jenny Wright as this. It's just this woman who works in a bookshop, and she starts reading this novel. It's like trashy horror novel, and in the film you're watching it, it looks like it's happening, but then it's kind of like just in her head. Just reading it, and she wants to then read the next book that this guy created called Madman. And it's as she's reading what happens in the book, it starts to blur reality of what's happening in the book and what's happening in real life. And she starts to see things, and she starts to see murders happen, and she can't figure out if it's real or if it's not, and the audience is not meant to figure out if it's real or not, and it's all kind of twists and turns in there. It ain't a great film, but I enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those ones where I'd give it a 3-star because it's shit, but it's really enjoyable. And the makeup effects on the killer is really great. Like the killer in it he's all disfigured, and he's like missing his ears and his nose and all of his like lips and everything. He's got no hair, and as he kills people, he takes part of their face and stitches them onto his own body.
So it's like Verotica.
Yeah.
So he just becomes more and more like stitched up with body parts and big, and the stitches across his head and his ears and his lips and everything. And some of the CGI effects, stop motion effects, for part of it is terrible. But in general, like the actual kind of stalking and the way this killer stalks her and her descent into madness is kind of well done. I wouldn't particularly go and seek it out, but it was fine. It was quite good, like, but shit but good.
I think that's the thing with 80s horror. Like, they threw a lot of the wall and some of it stuck, but most of it didn't, did it? Like, some of the ones that were actually probably quite good were lost in the sea of time a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, they weren't afraid of trying new things, I think.
No, it's very trashy. And you could make a really, really good slasher stalker horror film using this same idea, I think. I just think in certain aspects of this film, it kind of misses the mark. But yeah, if you're into like 80s horror and over the top blood and special effects, then give that one a go. Lastly, myself and Gadget and Lady Aspat from our Discord, we played Sea of Thieves, Tall Tales, Monkey Island.
And it's very, very good.
Yes.
So if you haven't played Sea of Thieves, obviously best pirate sim going. Just get out on the open seas and pirate your way around. This one's one of the Tall Tales, so this takes place kind of off the Sea of Thieves. You go into a PvE zone. There is no one coming to grief you on this one, because that's the first complaint everybody has about Sea of Thieves, is being griefed by randoms. Don't worry, this is a story where you get to go to Melee Island, into the world of Monkey Island, to seek out Guybrush Threepwood, who, after his wedding to Elaine, kind of gets a bit peculiar and disappears. But as far as Melee Island's concerned, he's the legendary pirate. That's how they refer to him, the legendary Guybrush Threepwood. You pull up, you go through the portal, however, Sea of Thieves gets you into different worlds, and you get the sounds and the strains of the theme tune to Monkey Island, and then there it is in front of you in full 3D, Melee Island, and it's glorious.
Yeah, it's so
fucking
good.
Glorious. And you pull up at the harbour, and you go up to where the governor's mansion is, and you're not allowed in. You have to work out how to get there, and as is tradition, there are a load of really obtuse fucking puzzles to do. And they're great. It was so much fun.
It's just Monkey Island in 3D, but like getting to run around Melee Island in first-person view while solving these obtuse Monkey Island puzzles, and we're all like working together. We like picked up this hammer, like, what's this hammer for? Right, we don't know. Right, put that down. Figure this thing out. Okay, what? Okay, wait. I've got to. Gadget was on this winch thing. He's like, oh, found this winch thing. I was like, went down. Oh yeah, I cut the rope, and bit by bit we were like kind of piecing it all together and going around the island and collecting things and money before to buy things to progress to the next part. A
lot of the puzzles are actual puzzles from the old games. Like you have to get into the chef's kitchen in the Scum Bar. And that's been a puzzle in every single Monkey Island game. How do you get the chef out of there so you can raid his kitchen for whatever you need? And this one, no disappointment. It's got all the original voice actors in as well. So you've got the lookout guy, you've got the pirate leaders, the pirate chiefs. You've got Murray, you've got Guybrush himself. You've got there's a good chunk of the cast in this. LeChuck turns up at one point, and it's not the original LeChuck actor, because unfortunately he died, but it's the current LeChuck actor from the last game. Everything looks great in 3D. Everything looks so pleasing in the Sea of Thieves art style as well, because Sea of Thieves got this wonderful kind of ever so slightly chunky art style. And the character animations and the characters look fantastic and sound brilliant. And we chortled and hoo-hawed our way through this. It's so funny.
Yep. I had such a good time playing it, and obviously I had a bit of Sea of Thieves bullshittery to it, where I thought I'd figured out a way to cheese it as well. Like we were just looking around. I was like, I managed to somehow get onto this roof, and I was like jumping my way up this roof. I was like, oh, I'm at the bell tower. Like you have to find a key to get into, or the clock tower to get.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm here. I figured it out, and then got around there, and then it's not. You need a key to lock the door at the bottom of the tower, and then a key to use the key to get in at the top. So I was being all cocky, thinking, I'm already here. but yeah, it was really good. Like if you've just played the newest Monkey Island game, to then go back to that and see it all in 3D and it be exactly how it was in that game, and
also like 3D in HD or 4K or whatever if you're playing on Xbox Series X, like it's just beautiful, beautiful. And there is a joke made at your expense if you happen to drown. And the rumors of how long Guybrush can hold his breath have gone up and up and up. I think it was about in one of the characters he can hold his breath for an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is again a running gag through all the games. So it's the first of 3 tall tales set in Monkey Island. So it only lasted. It took us maybe 3 hours to do, if that.
But you could probably do it quicker.
Yeah, we got lost on one point trying to get one of the puzzles done. So we were kind of running back and forth until one of us had a brainwave. And yeah, I keep saying it's great because it is it, and I think people need to give Sea of Thieves another go anyway because it's just a good game. It's fun. Tall Tales especially because they're PvE. You don't fight people in them. If you have to fight, you're fighting enemies. So, you don't have to engage with the online play.
This is so much more enjoyable than that Pirates of the Caribbean one was, just mainly because obviously they've got the proper voice actors in, but they've just done it in the style of Monkey Island. Like, it isn't just we've got Melee Island, we've got the characters, but you're just going to go off and do some normal Sea of Thieves stuff.
Yeah,
the fact that they made it like a Monkey Island game was what made it special.
It did, yeah. So yeah, really heartily recommend anybody play that. Especially if you have Game Pass as well. You're not going to lose anything, are you?
No. So yeah, that's our week. We've done quite a lot this last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It's nice doing the Nexus every 2 weeks.
Yeah, you can build a few things up.
Yeah.
You just got to remember though, haven't you? It's just like, because we did like, you and Gadget obviously did Barbie and Oppenheimer like 2 weeks ago nearly. It's just like, I've got to keep it all in my head and remember.
I took notes.
What have our listeners been up to then, Gadget, in that time?
So Xenos has said, not something I've been playing personally, but something I've been watching a lot of. Most of my friends have picked up Remnant 2, the sequel to Remnant from the Ashes. It looks like a really solid third-person shooter with some Souls-like mechanics. I've one specific criticism that stopped me buying it myself, which is that it's yet another ostensibly multiplayer game with a limit of 3 players in a session. Every time I watch them interact with one of the checkpoints, they're rocks, but they're basically bonfires. They're standing on 3 sides of an obviously square rock, but no, you may have a maximum of 2 friends and no more. And then he goes on to an amendment to this. I have ended up buying Remnant 2 myself. And I have another criticism. To anyone in game development who thinks about doing something like a roguelite, or otherwise procedurally generated or randomized game, for the love of God, curate your tutorial area. When I started, I got dropped into an area that was way too difficult for me at my level of experience with shooters, and if not for my friends helping, I would have no idea that I could reset it to a different zone and probably just quit 45 minutes in. Gameplay is fine now that I've been able to start off in a different zone and I get better equipment. I'm currently Warhammer 40k'ing my way through a Warhammer fantasy environment, and the murderous lunatics wandering the streets cannot withstand my Gatling laser cannon rocket-propelled hammer. I may have to buy this. Rocket-propelled hammers? I'm into it. Yeah, it's been getting good reviews, Remnant 2. I don't know if I didn't enjoy Remnant 1, but I think it just didn't hit me with the right time.
I think sometimes it's worth revisiting a sequel, isn't it? Because they got the chance to like tune out what wasn't working and refining what did.
Yeah.
So.
Like I've seen plenty of stuff online.
I
The videos
struggle
look
with
great.
these like when it's only like 3 players doing stuff. I don't know. I just never get into them.
You can play it by yourself if you want to. It doesn't need to be online. Robotic Monkey has said, I've been slowly watching my way through Adventure Time with the kids. If you haven't seen it, it's a Cartoon Network animation about a human boy called Finn and his best friend and adopted brother Jake, who is a magical shape-shifting dog. You can superficially enjoy it as a weird cartoon about 2 best friends defeating bad guys in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, but there's also a ton of really grown-up storylines about life, loss, and trying to figure things out. On more than one occasion, I found myself pausing for thought, and I'll never be able to hear the Cheers theme again without welling up. Sadly, because this was on Cartoon Network, you can't easily watch it anywhere anymore, but if you haven't seen it, I strongly recommend checking it out.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people really
good
love
thing about
Adventure
it.
Time.
Yeah, I hear people say it's like all the time how good it is.
And Bluey as well. Like loads of people are going on about Bluey.
I mean, I do like clips of Bluey. Bluey's quite sweet.
Yeah, but that is like proper kids.
That is a proper
like,
kids show. There is
like
some
young
stuff for
kids
adults
one
in
that's
that.
got some good stuff in it, but it's not one where you'd sit and watch it by yourself if you have, have children.
Acid Pearl does.
There are a subset of adults who do watch Bluey, just unironically, without having
There's
children.
a subset of adults who do a lot of things they shouldn't do.
Well, true, yeah.
Why are you both looking at me?
I mean,
Didn't say anything.
gamer bed.
It's fine. It's fine.
Sergeant Story said, I've been enjoying the series based on a recommendation from Lady Azabat. It's The Palace Job, which is the Rogues of the Republic series. Finished book 1 in a couple of days and on to book 2 now. It's been fantastic and incredibly hard to put down. A couple of plot points were easily predicted, but that's true of a lot of books these days. I don't know who wrote that.
Another fantasy series I'll probably have to add to the collection.
Yeah. By Patrick Weeks.
Is it complete? Is it a complete series? That's the important thing.
Rogues of the Republic series. Let's see. There's 3 books in it. Is the series complete?
It looks like it is.
Yeah, it looks like it's a trilogy.
Good. Then I heartily recommend that, and I'll get onto it.
Yeah. Right, okay. Mike Halstead said, inspired by our recent backlogs of shame, I've decided I'm going to play games until I finish at least the main story. This week I successfully finished Final Fantasy VII Remake and have started on 16, but the rest of the list includes, and is not limited to, Tales of Arise, Spider-Man Miles Morales. Do that one next, it's short, it's good. Dragon Quest XI, put that one down, it's good, but it's long. Elden Ring, also long. Hogwarts Legacy, also long. Undertale, short. And God of War, kind of long.
Yeah.
Kind of long, but kind of worth it.
I would think do Spider-Man Miles Morales, then do God of War, and then Undertale, and then the rest are really long.
Dragon Quest is definitely one that I just dip in and out of every now and again. Like I go in, I play that week, I'll play like 6-7 hours of it, and then I don't play it for ages. Then I'll go back in. Like it's very much a game that I've found that you can just dip in and out of.
I just finished Final Fantasy 16 and
How long did it
quite
take
long.
you?
About 60 hours, I think. I think it says about 80 on my playtime, but there's a lot of just pausing and reading my phone, so I would say probably about 60.
Fair enough.
And I mostly did the main story as well. Like I didn't do that many side quests. I did some of the monster hunts instead of like grinding and everything because you get the good weapons. But yeah, I didn't do a bunch of side quests.
I was going to get that. 80 hours. I'm sure I'll get it.
It doesn't have to be 80. I think you're probably looking 50, 60 when all said and done.
Well,
it's worth it.
Oodles did it in 35, so you usually take what he does and then add 50% to it.
Yes.
That'll be about 50 hours. Super Natty Cat has said, this week I've been watching Luca on Disney+. If you haven't seen it, it's basically the boy version of The Little Mermaid, but with no romance and much funnier. So nothing like The Little Mermaid then.
in a sense.
Well, there's the sea.
There's the sea.
The sea's in
It's
it.
a person who comes from out of the sea and to live on the real world.
It's about a sea monster called Luca who
Land.
wants to visit the human world. He bumps into a lad called Roberto, who is also a sea monster, and they befriend a human girl. They desperately want to win a race so they can purchase a shitty moped and then they can explore the world.
Isn't it a Lambretta?
You up?
It's a decent moped, to be fair. You can't be calling it a shitty moped. It's like a Lambretta, proper cherry red Lambretta.
Yeah, they want the money to buy a decent one. Yeah.
Okay. It's a beautiful, funny take on childlike imagination and dreams, and Stuarticus loves the fact the characters are drawn with huge eyes and there's lots of movement. Stuarticus rating of 8 out of 10.
Excellent.
It could have been had catchy music to shake his limbs to, he says, but he likes the cat. He likes the cats in it and loves how the water looks on the telly. This is the diseased mind of Super Natty Cat. Stuarticus is her son, who is 2 months old now.
About, yeah.
She's very much mummy brain at the minute, isn't she?
I think he might be heading in the same direction.
It's Pixar though, so there's no music in it. Anyway, really.
Planty is oh no, I've seen the amount of capital letters in this one. Planty says, this week I've been mostly watching films. So enjoying me one-line reviews, although it might be a bit strong. I don't know why he's got that accent. He's from Nottingham. Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Here's the capitals. Mirage is an F1 car, not a Porsche. Do you realise how stupid you made me look in front of my wife? Film about toy cars that turn into robots? 2 out of 5. The Flash. Why are they all cartoons? Did you send the actors away and then decide to animate the rest? How can a film that costs so much to make look so cheap? 1 out of 5.
It's not wrong. Fucking hell, the CGI in this.
He then goes on to say, Infinity Pool. He says, you know that scene out of The Simpsons where Homer's watching Twin Peaks? Brilliant, just brilliant. I have no idea what's happening.
I want to see that so bad. Is it out streaming yet? It must be.
Rachel's point, see, this is why we don't make friends on holiday. That's her quote. Brit. And best for last, I finally got Rachel to crack open the Dune Part 1 Blu-ray after she saw the trailer for Part 2. Her next day review, that was brilliant. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it all day, even though nothing happens. 5 out of 5. It's Dune for you. Can't wait for Dune Part 2. They better not fucking delay it till next year. Planty, why are you watching terrible films? You watch enough bad films for your own podcast. Stop doing it. You know, no one needed to watch Transformers Rise of the Beasts.
Because he's like me. Just watches them. I didn't need to watch The Flash. I already knew it was going to be bad, but...
Yeah, I know quite a lot of people watch The Flash. I've not heard a single person say a single good thing about it. Other than Michael Keaton's in it, and he's good.
Flash.
Last up, Angry Kurt says, most of my gaming this past week has been the Resident Evil 4 remake, and boy, is this game fantastic. It was a bit of a risk for me as I'm easily scared, and I can say this is easily the scariest game I've ever played, but I'm enjoying it so much that I think I'll be able to power through. The thing that stands out to me is the pacing, which is spot on. But yeah, that's the thing. A lot of Resident Evil 4 was always good for its pacing. Film-wise, I finished all the Mission Impossible films up to Dead Reckoning. My ranking would be in order of best to worst. Fallout, Rogue Nation, Ghost Protocol 3, 2, and then 1. Is that accurate for you, Stig?
No, but
Okay.
I haven't seen 2 in ages. I still have a soft spot for 1 because I like it being a bit more grounded, and it being like a spy espionage rather than like a massive, big, blow-up action film. Whereas I think 2 just went over the top. And
2's a John Woo film.
full of style, a lot of style and of substance.
Yeah. TV-wise, I started watching The Thick of It, which I think was recommended on here before on the Best Bastards episode with Malcolm Tucker. He really is a bastard, but incredibly funny. In some ways, the show reminds me of Succession with some of the incredible one-liners that you hear. Yeah, I can see that. There is some fantastic top-tier Olympic-level swearing in The Thick of It. It's such a good show. Although you do have to kind of ignore Chris Langham in the first series. Yeah,
I mean, I
he's
didn't
a significant wrong'un.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it until he didn't turn up in series 2, and I looked at why. I was like, oh. So at least I found out after I'd watched, and it wasn't like watching him knowing.
Well, yeah, I found out after I watched it, but it was on a subsequent rewatches. I just skipped the first season. It's only 3 episodes anyway. Last up, he says, finally, I'm preparing for the next Kenny Potter by reading through Prisoner of Azkaban. I think this was the first book in the series I read back in the day after watching the first 2 films beforehand. I'm enjoying it, but as we discussed in the Discord, I find it annoying how J.K. Rowling has to explain every returning character and other things from the previous books, like someone would be jumping into the series fresh for the 3rd book in, which you did.
Do you know what?
Actually, like reading that, I completely agree with that because it even happens a little bit in the 4th book as well.
It does. And now I'm blaming Kurt on this, that I'm picking up on every time she bloody does it. It'll be like,
you notice it now.
So we did the 3rd episode. We recorded that. It comes out next week. And so I thought, screw it, I'll just get straight onto the 4th book. So I'm on to the 4th book now. And I'm like 12 or 13, 14 chapters in or something at this point already. And yet even in that, she'll go back to, because of this happening and this. And don't you remember that this was the reason why that? And I'm kind of like, I don't need to know this. And I guess it's slightly different in the fact that these books didn't come out.
Yeah, they came out years apart.
Yeah, exactly. So I get the reason it's done, but when you're listening to them or reading them one after another now that they're all out, it can be quite tiresome. Yeah.
So you're noticing that now that someone's pointed
I'm
it out
noticing
to you.
it now that he's picked up on it, and now I notice it. Thanks, Kurt.
Oh, bless him. That's all the feedback we have.
Excellent. So just before we get into Candyland, if you want to hear more of what we do, obviously you can sign up to our Patreon. We'll get extended episodes of this every week, and we have specials coming out of, like the aforementioned Kenny Potter. That will be out next week on the 10th. No, that's the wrong date. I'm looking at the wrong month. The 7th. So that'll come out on the 7th of August, and myself, Oodles, and Candy are going over the Harry Potter films one by one for that. All the information is on modernescapism.co.uk. Next week, Planty is actually joining us, special guest. He's coming on, and he's suggested this topic. I was meant to run it by you, but I haven't done, so I'm just bringing it to you now.
Ooh, I like a surprise.
Yeah, so he said, I don't think you've done this before, but how about making a new ending to your favourite franchise? So I've extended this to maybe coming up with our own ending to shows or film series that got cancelled as well.
No, I don't like that topic. I don't want to do it.
I'm going to fix
Okay.
Game of
Yeah, that's
Thrones
good.
so
I love
hard.
it. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so we're going to fix things that we didn't like the endings to. Game of Thrones is too easy. Too
Okay,
easy.
okay. How I Met Your Mother. I can fix it. I can
There
make
you
it
go.
good.
So that's what we're doing. Next week, we are fixing things and giving stuff a better ending. Could be anything you want. So yeah, join in, send us your feedback on Twitter, the Discord, or on the website. There's a link there to our email. And that's a podcast. So we're now going to head into Candyland.
And now, what's up in Candyland?
What's up in Candyland? So, we've all been to a dressing room, we've all been to a changing room. Penis doodles everywhere. Libraries, bus stops, dirty cars, tester pads in Hobbycraft, queues in Alton Towers. Wherever you can doodle, there's a penis. So it made me wonder if, like, do you think penis doodler is the same from region to region? Like, is penis doodler maybe different by Aborigines as it is to the Hawaiian peoples and it is to the Vikings? So it made me, like, wouldn't it be good if I could do, like, a travel book of penis doodles from around the world? Like, there could be a whole series of penis doodles and it could come out every year and it could be an anthology and people would spend, like, it would be like 50 quid because it's like a coffee table book, 50 quid per book. And, like, it also made me think, like, how many penis drawings do you think you've done in your life, both of you? It's more than 10, right?
So
Way more than 10.
yeah, we used to just deface our friends' books. It was me and two other lads in our science, and it was a challenge to see how many dicks you could draw in their book. And we called it Dicked. And you would draw a dick in their book. So maybe a week later, they would go to the next page and there'd just be a page full of dicks because they hadn't realised that you'd done it. And we used to do this a lot. So
You've
yeah,
been dicked.
I used
So,
to have a science books full of dicks.
Wasn't even biology. But, like, what do you reckon the ratio is of dick doodles to people in the world at this given moment? Like, it's got to
That's a
outweigh
lot.
it by fucking, like, surely by loads.
I mean,
it exceeds.
have you not heard of Wanksy?
No.
So Wanksy is a lad in Manchester who has gotten so furious with the state of potholes on the road, he spray paints spray paints a cock around it. So the council then come and fill it in.
Yeah, I have. Okay, I have seen. Now I do. Yeah, now you've explained. I know exactly what that is. Yeah.
Some of them are incredible. Like there's one who's made a tank out of a cock, or an airplane dropping cock bombs.
I bet if you go through all kind of drawings and pictures from time, that there's a lot of
That's what
very
I'm saying.
different
Like,
looking ones. I've just
Like,
found
but-
one here, which is a history of history of males' genitals in Western art. And there's one guy here he's riding the cock like it's a woman, sorry, is riding the cock. It looks like one of those like Japanese dragons.
do you know what my favorite is? That meme, and it's like somebody, like it's a demon carrying his giant cock in a wheelbarrow or something, and he's asking, "Does anyone want anything from the cock trolley?" Is like, got anything less cocky? Is that only giant cock? I'm afraid. I love that one, but like even penises throughout history, like in like cave drawings in the cradle of civilization, like but throughout time, there's always been a penis drawing.
Yeah. Oh, I've just found the demon here on the wheelbarrow. Oh, that is one giant penis.
Only
Yeah.
giant penis, I'm afraid.
I've just posted. Look at that one. I've just posted in the chat. The one that with the woman riding.
Let's have a look at this then. Oh, wow. That is a lot of cock.
Yeah, it really is.
yeah. And then you have like statues as well. How they're depicted on statues.
I mean, you can kind of forgive that because it's a study of... They are mostly really tiny, but also that's a study of human form and like they're just like naked and musculature. So I wouldn't necessarily call that a doodle per se.
No.
But
Plus Marble's quite cool.
Well, see, I was listening to a podcast to Bad Friends and they're talking about this where they said, that, do you reckon that the guy who saw David...
Michelangelo's David, yeah.
Yeah. Do you reckon that when that was unveiled, it was just like this? They were saying, do you reckon he was wandering around going, that's not what it looks like? Like, it's much bigger than that. It's much bigger than that. Like, do you want to see it? Do you want to see it? Like, I'll prove that it's bigger. Like, tell him it's bigger.
He was a shower, not a grower. Grower, not a shower.
Bless him. Everything else about his body was entirely perfect, but everyone focuses on that.
Yeah, but have you seen it, though, in the flesh? Or not in the flesh, in the marble?
Yeah.
He's fucking ginormous. Dick, not so much.
I mean, I don't think it's sculpted to scale. Like, he was a human-sized person.
Well, yeah, I mean, he'd be 50 foot otherwise. But I mean, who are we to say how big people were back in those days?
We
don't know. There was no evidence.
Door frames?
No.
Bones?
No.
Remains of people?
No.
They'll give a pretty good idea of how big they were.
That's just a few people that were in the world at that time. There might have been. You just don't know about what happened 200 years ago.
We do. That recorded history was happening then.
Well, it didn't record everything, did it? And that's Candyland.
Fucking hell.
Wow, I was just trying to look up that woman who's got like just dicks tattooed all over her.
Actually, that how many dicks have you doodled on people, Candy?
On purpose or accidentally?
Both.
Accidentally, it could be exponential amounts.
On purpose?
I can't think of like any. Well, purpose, maybe a few.
Have you ever tattooed one?
No.
Not tattooed the actual penis, like a penis doodle.
Have I drawn a penis on somebody that isn't on their penis?
No. Have you ever?
Or have I tattooed somebody's penis?
No. Have you tattooed a penis doodle on someone?
No. Well.
Have you hidden a penis in any tattoos that you've done?
No. Depends how penisy the person is, really.
Watch out when she comes down, when you go down for yours, Gadget.
Yeah.
That sword in the bonfire is going to look very, very penis-like.
Why's he got a helmet?
I will bring you some breakfast and some sweets. That'll keep you happy.
No penis.
No penis.
Yeah, well, that's Candyland, and that's a podcast. If you aren't a patron, then this is the end of this week's podcast, and if you are, then we'll meet you in the green room. Goodbye.
Bye.